Hello everybody. This is my first video, and I'm gonna show you how to make a very simple synthesizer with an Arduino hooked up to a piezo speaker and a potentiometer, and possibly a kill switch with just a simple button, if you have one. So basically, our circuit here, as you can see, is a we have our potentiometer hooked up to the ground and to the positive end, and then the middle goes to the analog input 0 on your Arduino board. Now I'm using an Arduino Uno for this, but you can use any version of Arduino for this if you want. Okay, so I have the positive end of uh, of my speaker, my piezo speaker, hooked up to the digital output pin 8 on my Arduino board. Now this is real simple. You can just hook it up to any pin you want. Really, I just decided to use one of the non-pulse modulated ones, which would be pins number 9 through 11, I guess. And that, it doesn't really matter. You could hook it up to any pin you want. Now I wired a kill switch in here, and all that does is cut the signal when I don't press on the signal. When I don't press on the switch, it kills the signal between the potentiometer and the speaker, and that's just so it won't make annoying noises while I'm just debugging it. Okay, so what I have going here is I wired this circuit. The wiring instructions are with the source code, and if anyone wants that, send me an email or send me a message, and I can upload that for you. Basically, all it does is I took the pitches.h library from the tone keyboard example that comes with the Arduino program, or you can use the tone fade, which is a simple program that follows a potentiometer with tone values. Now all I did was I took that and I wired that in, and instead of making it just do direct input-output values from the potentiometer to the speaker, I mapped it. So I took the mapping function on Arduino and I used it to map the values on this 10K potentiometer from 0 to 1000. Those are mapped now to values from 0 to 25, or at least for this first example. Okay, and this makes it so that it will access the 25 elements in the array that I've defined using the pitches.h library. So that's basically just every note in between B4 and B5 on like a keyboard. Let me just demonstrate this for you right now. Here, let me give you a little demonstration. Here we go. So I'm basically using the potentiometer to step through a chromatic scale, which is mapped to the values of the potentiometer output. So what you would want to do is what I did, which is take those values, and then instead of mapping them on a scale of 1 to 24, which is how many 0 to 24, which is how many notes there are. There's 25 notes on the scale, so 0 to 24 in the array of notes that you have pre-programmed into the system. You can make it into a scale and make this thing into sort of a makeshift theremin. So basically, you're making this into a theremin that uses a potentiometer instead of a touch for resistance. So it takes a resistance value and it maps that to a value that corresponds to a number in an array, and the array in your program tells it which note values, which frequencies to output to the piezo speaker. And then you end up with a sort of mini synth. Now, I mean, there's several ways you can mod this. You can mod this so it outputs to MIDI. You can mod this very easily so it outputs to other speakers. I'm just using an 8 ohm piezo speaker. No problems. Super simple. Now let me just, I'm going to upload some code here. I wrote a code for a Dorico Flamenco scale. Let me upload that right now. Uploading to my board. And it's uploaded. So now I can play any note on that scale using this potentiometer knob. So I can just play songs. So I can And I wrote a couple different versions of the code. You can email me or send me a message if you want any different versions. I made a G major version. So let me just upload that right now so you can see. It's really useful. You can just jam with any other people you want as if it were a theremin. Because it basically is a theremin. I've just programmed it to read from the values from the potentiometer instead of reading from, which is the same thing a theremin does, it's just analog. So like the G major scale would just be like, very simple. I also put a real interesting scale, what is this, a Raga Decimishravam. It's an Indian scale. I also uploaded this on there. All you have to do is comment out the notes you don't want and adjust the mapping values to whatever notes you want it to play. So this one, for example, is real fun to play with. It just goes. You can, yeah, let me upload that. You get this Eastern sounding stuff, but it's really cool because you can wire this into something else. You could wire this to MIDI output. You could wire this to a larger speaker. Anything you want. You could wire it as an analog instrument, as a digital instrument. You can use it for whatever you want and program whatever scales you want in it. It's pretty general. You just comment out the notes you don't want and adjust the mapping values for whatever amount of notes there are. So let's say you have like, let's say you have 14 notes, you would map it from 0 to 13 on your map. So it would be sensor reading 0, 1000, 0, 13 in your map statement when you define the pitch. So here we go. It's really fun to play with, and you can do whatever you want with this thing. So that's pretty much it. If you want the source codes, let me know in a comment or tell me in a message. It's really simple, just using the Arduino Uno, and it's a simple breadboard. You only need 3 components. You only need a piezo speaker, or any speaker you want, or a MIDI output device or something. You don't need any resistors because the speaker doesn't require any resistance on this circuit. It's only running at 5 volts. Kill switch, That's not even digitally wired. You could make it digital if you want, but it's just simpler this way. And then your little control pot. You can use a flex sensor or touch sensor or any sort of resistor or any variable resistor, potentiometer, flex sensor, touch sensor, temperature sensor, light sensor, anything you want you could use for this. This is just wired in specifically for this. So I can send you the schematic and the source code if you send me a message, or I can just upload it to my website. And that's about it. That's how you make a simple synthesizer with an Arduino board and just 3 simple components. So yeah, thanks for watching.